Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is Kero Riri Paddle, and today we're sitting down with the Emperor Poxal. How are you?
I'm doing very good today, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on, man. You're really cool. You're one of the Anitubers that are coming up right now that I've been focused on because the content that you make, the humor that you bring to your videos, it's all really, really great.
I appreciate it, man.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the kind of content that you make on YouTube?
So, I make mostly Bleach related content, and sometimes I dive deeper into other series, various series. Like I think I just made a video last July 21st, on One Piece discussing another show, but I tend to zoom in closer on Bleach, and that's because I feel like out of the modern day shonens, Bleach is the one that gets the least amount of love. I feel like, especially out of the big three, like we constantly see praise for Naruto, we constantly see praise for One Piece, and Bleach has always been the series that I have always felt relatability towards, and I've always felt closer to than the normal shonen. I started my channel like a long time ago, back in like 2020, I think it was 2019, November. Yeah, November 21st, 2019, I uploaded my first anime video. Now, I've been doing YouTube longer than that, but that's when I started anime YouTube. I didn't start with Bleach. In fact, I started with random animes, just bringing to the table, doing like what Giguk does per se, adding humor and analyzing certain series. It came to me as although it was gonna hurt my channel, I really wanted to zoom in on one topic, and although definitely didn't hurt my channel, and in fact, if anything, it accelerated the growth. Zooming in on Bleach just was special. Like it just meant more to me as a series, and so yeah, that's why I talk about Bleach a lot. And yeah.
Cool. And one thing I want to mention is that of all of the content creators that have been speaking about Bleach over the last little while, I think you definitely set yourself apart from many of them because of how you talk about it. You talk about it not just from an analytical breakdown perspective, but also what it means to you. And the kind of videos that you make as well regarding Bleach are really great. We'll get into more detail about that shortly, but could you tell us a little bit about how you discovered anime?
How I discovered anime. Now that happened almost, I'd like to say almost a decade, maybe 9 years, but probably almost a decade. Um, I was in like second, first grade, maybe even third, trying to remember clearly. And I was really into stuff like Beyblades, for example. Like I'd watch the Beyblade Metal Fusion anime. I don't know if that's considered an anime, but the Beyblade Metal Fusion. I watched Pokemon, even though I wasn't supposed to, which is an interesting story. But
We'll come back
I
to that for sure.
Yeah. I watched Pokemon. I was addicted to Pokemon. I even watched Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh became an all-time passion of mine. And also watched a series known as Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And that's like the first anime that I guess I could consider like a full-fledged anime. Like I consider Yu-Gi-Oh an anime, but it's more of a children's show, if that makes sense. Although it's way deeper than I think most people give it credit for. Um, when it comes to stuff like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, I think that's more of a teenager to adult style show. Anyway, I watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood in the background, like not episodically, but like where I'd skip around because I'd watch it when my brother was watching it. I fell in love with FMA Brotherhood, and as time progressed, my brother wanted to show me three animes. He wanted me to get more into anime. So he showed me the first episode of Blue Exorcist. Blue Exorcist, I think it was. I'm trying to remember. Blue Exorcist, I think, Bleach, and Sword Art Online. I remember distinctly saying, okay, I want to watch more of Sword Art Online. Biggest mistake in my life. Should have picked Bleach, but I picked SAO out of the three to watch more of. I don't think I ever made it too far into Blue Exorcist, but I definitely finished Bleach and Sword Art Online there. And although SAO started to stand out to me as a very distinct show of its own caliber, Bleach just felt different. With Ichigo as the protagonist, having that deep connection with wanting to protect the people around him. and why he desired that.
Cool. I really, really find it funny that people who got into anime or their earlier committed animes were was SAO, and then they all have the same reaction. I like SAO for a lot of reasons, and there are a lot of reasons why I try to distance myself from it. But it seems like it's a very shared experience with many other anime fans. But you're into anime throughout this time. I guess you have people showing you different shows. You're getting into a whole bunch of different genres. How does this lead you into creating anime content on YouTube?
So for the longest time, even before I was a somebody who was into anime, I loved making YouTube videos. Like I think ever since I was 12 under my parents' name, because it's against guidelines to make a channel under 12. I was trying to make videos. I was really addicted to YouTubers like Sunday and YouTubers like Think Noodles, which are two gaming related channels. And I really liked how they did their videos, and I really aspired to be like them. So on my own phone, I picked up and started recording the computer screen that was playing Terraria or like Minecraft and stuff like that. And we did Let's Plays that way. And
Nice.
I guess during that time, I still did anime related content because I also did how to make your own Beyblade thingy field arena. I think it's called Stadium. It's called Stadium. My bad. And what I did is I grabbed a bowl, filled it up with water, and froze it in the freezer. and I did that for a while, and we did videos through the phone until I downloaded a screen record. Actually started making videos through the phone playing Clash of Clans. It's a mobile game. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
And I did that for a while. I did Pocket Edition Minecraft because I didn't have a screen recorder on the computer. I only had one on my phone. And as I aged, as I got to ages 13, 14, I actually started making videos using the computer, making Minecraft content, doing all that stuff. And it was leading nowhere. So I was really dumb about this. I kept stopping it on one channel and moving to another channel, seeing if could get better in the algorithm of some sort. And each channel I'd consider a success. Each channel got above 300, 400 subscribers. But I had one channel that got really good into the algorithm because I chose to say PewDiePie's name 10,000 times. And as that channel grew, and it was during the PewDiePie versus T series whole thing. Yeah. And as that channel grew, I started focusing in on other stuff I enjoyed. And my first anime video ever was actually not the Assassination Classroom video. That's my first anime video on the channel I'm currently using. My first anime video ever was Overlord Season 3, Episode 1 review. It was me sitting there reviewing Episode 1 of Overlord Season 3 because at that time, I was obsessing over Chibi Reviews Season 2 of Overlord reviews. And I was just obsessing over them. And I really liked how they were, and I wanted to just do that exact same thing. So I threw it on my Fortnite and Minecraft channel. Surprisingly, they did well. They didn't do terrible, which is really weird to think about. But from there, I transitioned into the drama community, probably my biggest regret on any channel. And then from there, I transitioned into doing anime because I'm not going to lie, I play games occasionally, but I was losing a lot of passion for gaming. I still held that passion with anime. Like I could turn on most animes and find some type of enjoyment out of them. But yeah, that's kind of how I found myself in the anime community. And I was inspired by so many anime creators because that's who I was watching. I mean, I stopped watching gaming channels. I more so focused on channels like Giga, Hiding in Public, Nextaku, and stuff like that.
Let's build off of that. Let's talk about Anitubers. Anitubers whose content you've enjoyed, who have inspired you, people you're watching now, big channels or small. What's that like for you?
I think it's really cool because I've actually started to be able to meet some of them. I find it when they make too similar content to mine, I can't watch them because I don't want there to be that subconscious copying and pasting. That's why I don't watch Bleach YouTubers really, except for I'll occasionally watch James Sanson because we make such, although we both focus in on Bleach, we make such different content that it's doable. because he talks about the Bleach anime's return in actual news and leaked information. Like he's like his channel is mostly leaking information, I feel like, whereas I'm not leaking information. I just talk about Bleach.
Yeah, it's really crazy how the Anitube community has grown so much in scope, and I'm a very big supporter of seeing this scene get bigger than it possibly
Mm-hmm.
can. I really do believe that there are a lot of Anitubers that aren't getting the recognition that they deserve. And while I appreciate the larger Anitubers and the content that they're making, I can't help but feel that it's time we start bringing in more Anitubers that are small to add their perspective to things, because it's a viewpoint that is coming from anime fans growing up in a different era who appreciate anime differently. They're consuming it differently. Like the way I used to watch anime was going to the video rental store to get whatever
Mm-hmm.
OVAs I could find. And if I was going to miss an episode, I had to record it if it was like on Fox or YTV. Now, like my nephews who are super into anime, they just go on online on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, and they just start watching something. So it's amazing how much the scene has grown on so many different ends. But you mentioned some of the bigger Anitubers. What about the content that they're making inspires you? I know you say you don't watch a lot of Bleach Anitubers, but surely you are paying attention to Giguk.
I think one of the best examples is hiding in public. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. My dad had a stroke, and that had a massive impact on me as an individual, like my viewpoint and my mindset. And one of the things I was doing was I was panicking there, but I moved to YouTube and I was searching up videos about some of my favorite games. And one of those games happened to be Cave Story. And I found Hiding in Public's Cave Story video, and I watched it, and I really liked the style, so I watched more and more of his content. But like just the way that I saw him dive deep into it was exactly how my brain went and how I felt like I was wired when I was watching anime. Not to the same level. I mean, Hiding is genius. Being able to speak to him in voice chat has been insane. I always felt like there was more to a story than meets the eyes. And I think George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, said this perfectly. I can't remember the quote exactly, but he talked about how directors and screenwriters aren't just writing for entertainment, but they're writing to teach you something. I think the same can be said about anime, that they are not just trying to entertain you, but there's philosophy involved. And it's philosophy that's so different from our side of the place, like our side of the world, because it's Eastern and not Western philosophy. And I think that's one of the things that's one of the more interesting aspects that we get to see in anime and shows, even if it's just subtle culture differences like white sauce or like I can't remember. I think anime translates white sauce sometimes to mayonnaise. They aren't the same thing.
Yeah. And I agree with you fully. The way that anime has become so mainstream is because it's a medium of telling stories in a different means to what many people are used to. And this is something the weebs have been saying for so long. Like, hey guys, check out anime. There's a lot more there than what it seems to be. But yeah, like I feel that the Anitubers at the top and even the ones at the many at the bottom, they've really helped contribute to that, because anime is deep. You can get analytical with it. Do some of the Anitubers get a little too analytical? I think so, but at the same time, it's still great to hear someone's opinion about a show, right? Because they could reinforce an opinion that you've had, and they can maybe point out something that you weren't able to articulate. There's a lot of good that's coming out of this scene.
Yeah, like the best Bleach video I've ever seen is by he's a channel named Soul. He made a video about Ukiora, and the whole video is just analyzing this one page in Bleach, where it's a white background and just a word in the middle. The word translating to the heart. However, the words have an entirely different meaning inside of Japanese culture. Anyway, she spends 17 minutes, I think it was, just analyzing that page and explaining how that works with the story of Ukiora and how Ukiora overcomes nihilism in one page. And although nihilism is a mistranslation, Ukiora isn't a nihilist. He believes in nothingness, which is similar but different. The video is phenomenal how it analyzes this. And even though that was a mistranslation that was done, the video still works, even with the change between nihilism and nothingness. But I love that video to pieces because it encapsulates the story of Ukiura oh so well.
Well, it's great that you can have a strong takeaway from a video of that length. Don't you think a 17-minute video analyzing one page in Bleach, and I know Bleach and the manga artwork very well, there are plenty of panels where it's just a lot of white and no background. Don't you think that's a little bit self-indulgent? The message is amazing, but
I think 17 minutes, I think for the most part, when you do have analytical videos that long, it is a lot of stuff that there isn't a lot to take away. But I think that's what made me love this video so much, because there wasn't. Like, every part of the video was important to lead to his final message. And I say analyzing one page, but in all seriousness, he's analyzing the entire story of Ukiura and how he ends up getting up to that point. So it's more so everything with Ukiura, not just one page. But the video's whole premise was to defend that one page, because people were memeing and saying that that one page was just done for an extra page number, because all it is a word in the middle.
are there any other examples of content Anitubers have made that have inspired you like that?
When I think of Anitube, there's a lot of people in the community that inspire me as individuals, even if I don't watch their content as frequently. I think one of the best examples, although he didn't inspire me to start Anitube, he has inspired me to move forward. And those examples would be like Jordan from the Anime Dude, Briggs from All Day, and well, it's not All Day Anime anymore, but Briggs, and even Sensei Inc. Those three are definitely big inspirations, I think.
Let's talk about anime. But
Yeah.
first, I want to talk about a tweet of yours that I saw actually like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
Bleach hate is so forced.
Okay.
I need you to elaborate on this, please and thank you.
So there's a meme that was going on where all my friends were posting a title of a series. It's so forced. So I decided to just do it with Bleach. But I do agree. I think Bleach hate is very forced. Like, I think a lot of people try to force it down, like force it. And there really isn't a lot to base their hate on. Like some person saying that all the Bleach villains are the exact same. That's like saying Grimjow, this energetic, chaotic guy, is the same as Ukiura, this calm, collective guy who's just stand there and is analytical and just thinks, where should I attack? That's the best objective way to attack. And that their goals are the same, which they are not.
The thing is, and sorry to interrupt you, you bring up a very good point, and I think someone like you, who you're very knowledgeable about Bleach, you can pick out those differences that are maybe a little bit too subtle for somebody who isn't as invested into the series. But if you look at it from the perspective of somebody who maybe they like Bleach, but they've seen other examples of series similar to Bleach, or they're not that invested, they'll look at these characters and be like, well, they have multiple stages of transformation. They're both villains that have a hard exterior, but there's something deeper on the inside. They both have a character aesthetic that looks edgy. Like, I love Bleach, and I think Bleach is definitely excellent, but the argument that people say that the villains are interchangeable, I don't agree with, but I can see why some that aren't that knowledgeable would say that.
I think I can't see it. I think the issue with Bleach is, unlike series, and this isn't a roast at Naruto because it's a strength and weakness that both series have. Kubo doesn't spoon feed his audience. He wants you to come to the conclusion yourself. And that's a strength because it makes the audience have to be analytical and look through the series and figure out things themselves. But it's also a weakness because some people aren't going to be able to figure them out. Like Aizen's character, if you're not closely looking at the series, you cannot truly understand Aizen's character. And I'm being dead serious about that. And there's several characters like that in Bleach. Whereas with Naruto, it feels like the answers are almost spoon-fed to you. Maybe not all of them, but Kishimoto does it way more often than, say, somebody like Kubo, where he does directly give you an answer. I personally prefer not being spoon-fed the answers. I like searching for the answers myself throughout the material. But to each their own, you know.
I agree. And I'm also of the state of mind to say that Naruto, as much as I love that series, it's definitely made for normies even before normies were a thing. Like I remember Naruto was essentially it was crowned to be the next Dragon Ball, and it was, and in a lot of ways it surpassed Dragon Ball when it comes to media and it comes to video games and merch. But Bleach Bleach, unfortunately, it never really had that same appeal, but the appeal of Bleach is also very different. The writing styles of the mangaka are very different. Yes, they're a big three, so they're always going to be compared to one another, but
Mhm.
One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto are nothing alike. They're shonen, so they have similar tropes, but they really are different series. And Bleach,
Yeah.
especially, Bleach did so much for shonen in an era where shonen didn't have characters that were having graphic battles like you saw in Bleach. You didn't see an ensemble cast the size of what you saw in Bleach and be successful. It didn't exist. And Kubo came and he did this, and he created an environment, a manga, where there are so many manga today that are influenced very clearly by Bleach, and he laid
Yeah.
down the framework for it.
There's a reason so many mangakas of some of the best-selling series right now. Jujutsu Kaisen is the biggest example, and if I'm not mistaken, I also am pretty sure Demon Slayer as well are more inspired by Bleach than they are of the other members of the Big Three. Like it's crazy to see how One Piece being the best-selling of all time, Gege holds. I don't know if Gege's ever said that they've been inspired by One Piece. I know they've said that they've been inspired by Naruto and Bleach, and Naruto's obvious to see, Bleach is obvious to see, and even Hunter x Hunter is pretty obvious to see. But Gege's also said that Kubo was the mangaka that was like the biggest inspiration in like their interviews and stuff. And then Demon Slayer, I mean, it's obvious to see Hashira, captains, and there's more to go down the line. But like, it's obvious that Kubo left a very deep impact on all the mangakas around, and so did Kishimoto, and so did Oda. I forgot his name for a second.
I'd say Kishimoto's effect is very similar to Toriyama, where it's if you want to make a long running series, this is how you do it. This is how you
Yeah.
structure it. And like we still see series trying to imitate what Naruto does, but with Bleach, it's very much this is how you tell a story with a lot of different characters. This is how you tell a story where someone has a goal, but you see the goals of others, and it becomes apparent that their goals are just as much important as it is for like Ichigo. Like I think of I like Rangiku. I like I don't know Byakuya. I like every single character for so many different reasons, and they may not get as much shine. But Kubo made sure that if they were on screen, they were on screen for a reason, and that's why fans resonate so well with the characters of Bleach.
Yeah. The writing technique is called Chekhov's gun or gun. I'm pretty sure it's called.
Yeah, it is.
Where every tiny detail that Kubo puts in the Bleach manga has a reason for being there. Where you can't say the same thing for other series. I feel like.
You can you can with Naruto, but it's
Yeah,
done very
yeah.
clumsily though, very clumsily.
Well, Kishimoto didn't have as much planned as say some of the other mangaka. That's where my respect for Kishimoto goes the most. I'd say, is he did not have as much planned. I mean, Kubo also didn't have a lot planned at the start. He more so thought of ideas and he expressed them. Like he knew where things were going, but he had no idea. And this is something that most mangakas don't know. I mean, I'm sure you already know this, but for the viewers, most mangakas don't know how far their series is going to go. They plan for 1 arc, 2 arcs, 3 arcs at the most. They don't know if their manga is going to get 600 chapters.
Who can, right? That's
Yeah.
no one can predict that far into the future.
Yeah.
I do love the effect of Bleach though. I have been I'll be open, I've been a very strong critic about Bleach, not because I dislike it. I read every single chapter for every single week from as early as I can remember. My uncle really likes manga and anime, so he put me on all of the shonens when I was growing up. So I literally grew up with Bleach, and it means a lot to me. But now to see so many young people getting into Bleach, and like some of these fans weren't even alive when it first started being publicated. It's amazing, and I think it shows that when Bleach comes back in full force, everyone's going to love the anime. Everyone's going to treat it with the respect it deserves. We see the reception Fruits Basket just got. Fruits Basket has been around for decades, and now people are saying that season 3 was the best anime that they have ever seen. I can only imagine the reception Bleach is going to get when people see all of the additional arcs being animated.
Yeah, 2022 is Bleach's year. It's gonna do a whole takeover. I think one of the craziest things to me is I don't know how familiar you are with DVD sales, but I was looking through the DVD sales of Bleach, and while Bleach was airing, it was outselling Naruto and One Piece.
I didn't know that. I knew it had very high sales. I saw it in like a maybe a Super
Yeah,
Eye Patch Wolf video, but it really outsold both of them. That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. See, that just goes to show Bleach was really, really popular when it came out. I
hmm
think one of the things that people hold against it is that it had a slide in popularity, and it was a pretty steep slide. And I don't know
Yeah,
why, honestly.
I get that claim. Like, I understand people making the claim. The issue is if you take One Piece and you also take Gintama, they have the same steep decline in popularity. It's an average thing that most long running shonen go through. That's not
Bro,
to say
Gintama fans will come for you for saying that.
no. It's nothing against Gintama. I mean, I haven't seen Gintama. I still need to check it out. I dropped it on episode 2, which is
Oh, wow.
filler.
Yeah, essentially.
But I think that every long running series has a sleep down in popularity. And I think people who bring up the fact that Bleach had one and mostly focus on that to criticize the series, first of all, that's the bad bandwagon fallacy. Second of all, how come Bleach in its lowest point, Thousand Year Blood War, which in my that's my favorite arc, but Thousand Year Blood War, the lowest point in sales, is still outselling series like I think yeah, the low sales are outselling My Hero Academia volumes right now. And My Hero Academia is in
Wow.
one of the best parts in the manga.
What does that say, right?
Yeah.
Wow. That enduring popularities, and that's like something I didn't even realize. So it just goes to
hmm
show, like, sometimes you can't believe what the loudest voices are saying about a series. Bleach isn't as bad as people make it out to be, and like I've said, I've been very open about some things I have against Bleach, but I would be a fool to say that it's not influential, that it's not better than a lot of the stuff that we're getting today. It is a really fantastic series.
Yeah. And I mean, it's fine to have problems with the series. Heck, Bleach is my favorite series, and I have my own issues with the series as a whole. Like, there are problems with Bleach, as there are problems with every manga series out there. That being said, for me, Bleach will always be number one. And I still believe that writing wise, it's better than One Piece. I'll fight that to my grave.
That's a bold
I
claim.
know.
What, briefly, why would you think that?
I just think when I look at all the categories that make up a manga or anime series, I give it to Bleach over One Piece. Fights, I give it to Bleach. Power system, I prefer Bleach's. Hockey is, it's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of hockey. Devil Fruits were really interesting. I loved how the battles were with Devil Fruits, but I think ever since hockey's kind of been put into the battle, I think One Piece fights have gone downhill. And I'm in the middle of Punk Hazard right now. Keep that in mind. So I'm not in Wano yet. I'm still reading it. Characters, I think Bleach is a landslide victory against One Piece character wise. I think the main cast is better. Like the Straw Hat Pirates, I think is better than say what you can call the equivalent in Bleach, which I guess you could say is Ichigo, Ohime, Renji, Rukia, and Chad. I almost forgot Chad's name. There's an example. um, but I think protagonist wise, again, I'd give it to Bleach. Antagonist wise, I think it's Bleach and landslide. One of One Piece's biggest weaknesses for me is the antagonistic groups. I think that's one of its weakest areas. World building, I'd actually give it to One Piece. I'd be a fool to say it's Bleach. But yeah, I genuinely believe that. I think the Bleach anime is a misrepresentation of the Bleach manga. That's another opinion I hold. Same as I believe from One Piece, less so for Naruto. I think Naruto's anime does a great job representing what I've seen of the manga for Naruto. I think Bleach's writing is underrated, personally. I love Bleach's writing. I think it has its problems, but so does One Piece, so does Naruto. And dare I say, I think the foreshadowing Kubo does in Bleach is on par with Oda's foreshadowing.
I think people give Oda way too much credit.
Yeah.
I look, I love Oda. I love One Piece. One Piece will be one of the greatest fantasy series written of all
Oh, I
time.
agree. I agree.
Like amongst everything, even past anime and manga, I think you can put it in the same category as I've said this with other guests on my channel, The Lord of the Rings, with Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe. Like when you consider like impactful
Yeah.
long running series, One Piece is right there. It's right there right now. But no, I am telling people for a fact Oda, there are times he writes things just for the sole purpose of saying, I'm going to come back to this in 3 years. And it's like, I can understand doing that a few times, but
Mm-hmm.
literally anything or any character introduced in One Piece, you're not going to see, or they're not going to have a major impact for such a long period of time. Like, Robin has contributed just enough to justify having her on screen, but she hasn't done anything significant yet. You have Chopper, who it seemed like him and Nami and Usopp were going in a great direction with their character
Yeah.
development, and then you basically just stunted them. It seems like the time jump for One Piece was just a reason to reskin everybody and put them in a new world and justify all the power, the jumps that the characters got. I love what Oda is doing, and there's a lot about One Piece that I love. It would take me an hour to talk about all of the things that One Piece does right, but then I could probably do it for
Yeah.
2 hours of what One Piece does wrong, and people think that just because it's flanked by so many cool things happening, that it makes it for a
Mm-hmm.
greater series than other things. Like Bleach does a lot, like you said, their fight system is so much better. The
Yeah.
fights in Bleach just stand out, and I remember them so much more than inconsequential fights in One Piece. But I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Fans just can't seem to see the truth.
I think that's the true of every series. I think that's true of every fandom, that people do overestimate what, like, I've met people who say that Kubo's never made a mistake in his writing, and that's just wrong. I mean, I think Chad, how underutilized Chad is an issue in the Bleach writing. I mean, he shows up, gives Ichigo motivation, and then what does he do? He off-screens statues. Like, this is supposed to be a main character that's just off-screening statues. Like, his only moment in the entire series is off-screen. And I think that's something that Kubo does do. I think Kubo's writing is of some of the best when it comes to the manga world. But I do have to say that people do also overestimate, as they do with any mangaka. Now, when it comes to One Piece, I love One Piece. That being said, right now, I feel like I'm giving it a lot of, like, if you go on my Twitter and you see some of my tweets, I've been giving it a lot of crap recently. But that's just because all I've read so far in post time skip has been trash. Return to Sabayodi is my least favorite arc in the entire series. Fishman Island was okay at best. And so far, Punk Hazard has been uninteresting and bad for me.
I fully agree. I think every single arc that's come out since the time jump has been like this. And I feel bad because there are fans of One Piece who really do love it a lot. I think, and this could just be a theory, a hypothesis, if you will. I think if you got into One Piece within the last few years, because you marathoned everything, it's easier to take it in, and you probably think it's still at a very high level. If you've been growing with One Piece, like you've known about One Piece for quite some time, I've known about One Piece for a while, we've seen how the story used to be, and we see what the story is today, and we've had time to sit with it. It's not like we read through 100 chapters in a day like some people do. We actually took our time to watch or read this series, and even though we may have marathoned a part of it, we still were going through that weekly drip. So I don't know. I love One Piece, but I just feel like people need to sometimes step back away from their fandom and look at some of the glaring issues that it has.
Yeah, I mean, again, One Piece is great, a great series. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made a video saying that you need to read One Piece. And I feel like when One Piece ends, it's going to be one of the craziest events in all of manga and anime history. Don't get me wrong there. But I feel like so far, it's just been downhill for me. And Marineford was such a great arc. And then post-war arc was phenomenal. And then we got...
Peak One Piece.
Peak One Piece for me, and since then it's just been Now I don't know. I hear some great stuff coming from some of the arcs after where I'm at. I hear this is kind of like the bottom of One Piece, and it starts to recover a little bit. With some people saying that Wano's the best arc in the series. I've heard that claim from 3 or 4 people. And then I've heard the opposite from other people saying it's one of the worst.
I hope those 3 or 4 people really love One Piece. What other anime are you watching, and what manga are you reading?
Right now I'm currently watching Kaguya-sama Love is War. I just finished Vinland Saga. I am reading Kingdom right now, and Vinland Saga because I just finished it. So now I'm picking up the manga. I'm also rereading Bleach, but that's every day.
How many times have you reread Bleach?
I have reread Bleach 4 times, but I only picked up the manga either like a year or 2 ago. So,
Which do you prefer?
Manga, easily.
Nice.
Kubo's work in the manga is 100 times better than that of the anime. I mean, I think Kubo said it perfectly. There was a moment in the Bleach anime where Kubo felt like he would, like Kubo said that the anime was so bad that it made him want to throw up. Like, yeah,
Rough.
like
Oh.
it made him sick.
There were some low points. A lot of low
Yeah.
points, actually, not some. What do you think the next big series are going to be?
Chainsaw Man, for sure. With part 2 coming out, I can see Chainsaw Man being like a top 20 best-selling series, especially with how it's selling without an anime adaptation right now. You know, a lot of people say Black Clover, but I don't agree with that. I don't think Black Clover sales really are insanely high. I think it's a good series overall, especially in the later parts. But I can't see it being like one of the series that Jump pushes like a big three.
Black Clover has gotten progressively better over time, which is a testament to the
Yeah,
writer's ability to grow. But it started off very, 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 very weak.
yeah. I gave the first arc a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, five is generous.
Yeah, actually, my bad. I think I gave it a 4, and I gave the second arc a 5. Let me.
Yeah, but now it's like a
Yeah,
7. You know, it improves over time.
yeah. I actually think the Elf arc was like a 9-ish, 8.5 to 9. And I think it's gone better and better. And now overall, I have it as a 7 out of 10 series. But the manga for Black Clover just doesn't have enough sales to like be like a big 3 series. I'd love it to be Blue Box because I'm enjoying that, but there's no way a romance series is gonna be a big 3 material.
Unfortunately, romance
Yeah,
series are so underrated.
yeah. Blue Box is incredible. Like one probably the thing I enjoy the most in Jump right now. That I'm reading on a week to week basis. Maybe My Hero Academia. I mean, we're coming to the closing of it, so I feel like, and also it's I wouldn't even really like. It's debatable whether you call it new gen. It depends on what you consider new gen, but maybe My Hero, more so because of how big the anime is. The anime is bigger than the manga, by a long shot. Um, and probably Jujutsu Kaisen, even though that's coming to an end too. The issue is like all the best selling series right now are coming to an end. Like we know Jujutsu Kaisen didn't Gege say 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. One Piece is coming to an end in the next 5 years. However, Oda says that every 5 years. Um, and then Horikoshi, I think this is the last arc in My Hero, if I'm not mistaken. And Chainsaw Man, we have no idea how long that's gonna go. All I know is I'm pretty sure Fujimoto doesn't want to make a long running series.
Let's talk about Chainsaw Man.
Ooh.
There are very few series that I've read that have really laid an impression on me. Chainsaw Man is one of those few series, and I like to think of myself shamelessly as an elitist when it comes to manga. I know it's not good to say that, but I do think I am. But I have guilty pleasures. Like, I absolutely love Demon Slayer, and I thought Demon Slayer was the best example of a modern shonen. Not the best modern shonen, just something that people could really appreciate. But then Chainsaw Man completely changed my mind.
If it wasn't for Chainsaw Man, I think Demon Slayer would be the best. Like I think Demon Slayer. I haven't like completely finished the manga. Actually, no, I have. Yeah, I read the last arc, like the arc after Mugen Train, and then I binged the ending in a week. And if it wasn't for how Demon Slayer ended, I would say Demon Slayer is better than My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, Black Clover, and the rest in the magazine right now. Besides One Piece, of course. But then it ended the way it did, and it went downhill.
Which is unfortunate because I thought Demon Slayer was really, 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 really strong, and I was like crying tears towards the end, and then it just
Yeah.
went into a odd direction.
Yeah, before the Swordsman Village arc, I think it's called. The arc prior to that was like a 9 out of 10 for me. Like, it was really, really good. I think it's called the Entertainment District arc.
District, yeah.
Yeah. And I loved it. And I was even considering making Demon Slayer a series that I was going to cover frequently on my channel for a time period. If you look when Mugen Train came out, I made a review. And then like 2 weeks later, I made an analysis on Rengoku's character. And then 2 weeks after that, I was going to make a video covering the core of season 1. And I'm still excited for season 2. They're covering one of my favorite arcs in the series, if not my favorite. But yeah, I think Chainsaw Man, though, as a series, will always stay in my top 10. Like, I don't see it getting kicked out. Like, I do see One Piece getting kicked out. It's moving closer and closer to the edge for me. But Chainsaw Man, though, it has left that impact. Dare I say this is going to be a hot take, but Aki is better than Sasuke. Denji is one of the best protagonists in all of fiction. I have him as top 5. Makima is my second favorite antagonist in all of anime and manga. Actually, no, third favorite. Power. I say Power is a pretty good character. She has room to grow, and I think she will. Like you can tell that there's more left to her character that needs to be covered, and that's what part 2 will cover, I'm sure, as they rescue her. I don't know. It's fun to read. I love Denji's simpleness, and one thing that I love about Chainsaw Man is it takes the shonen tropes. You see, one thing I love about Bleach, I know I'm bringing it back to Bleach, is it doesn't have as many of the common shonen tropes when it comes to like a protagonist that eats a lot or stuff like that. Like I hate that because it makes no sense. But in Chainsaw Man, it still has those tropes, but it feels like there's an actual reason for them. Like One Piece, Luffy just loves food, and then there's other shonens like that where like there's no reason behind why the protagonist likes food so much. Like, why does Goku love food so much? Why does he eat so much? But with Denji, it's because he's never had the chance to eat the food that he's loved, so he wants to live life how he can. Like, I think Chainsaw Man is it's way deeper than meets the eye when you first read it, and like the way that the story connects is just so impactful. And how, spoilers for Chainsaw Man, skip 1 or 2 minutes if you guys don't want to be spoiled, how Fujimoto just takes out a main character like that, like, is incredible. Like, I've never seen an author be so free-willed to just get rid of a main character that they've become attached to. And at the same time, his author notes are all about food.
The thing about Chainsaw Man is that it's doing something that we've seen done across many other series, but it's condensed into one shonen series. And that's what makes it very unique, because there is an energy when you're writing a shonen series. You can write at a fast pace at the consequence of a character's personality being developed. Except in Chainsaw Man, the personalities do get developed. Mm-hmm. You've had videos where you talk about, not just with Chainsaw Man, with other series where you break down the characters' like biography, how they're coming up through the manga or the anime, and you put a lot of attention to detail with that. But if you look at Power, if you look at Makima, if you look at Denji, all of these characters, as you've mentioned, they have so many different aspects to them. They're very three-dimensional, and you're excited to see where things go with them next, even if you know it means that this character is going to have to encounter a lot of tragedy, a lot of hurt to get to where their final destination is. You're excited as a reader to see it, and I haven't felt so connected to characters in a manga in a very long time. Chainsaw Man completely changed how I look at modern series. I think it is one of the greatest shonen released over the last 20 years, I'd say 20 years. And I'm very excited to see how the world loves it when it's finally animated.
Yeah. I actually think it's a top 5 shonen of all time. Top 10 shonen of all time, from what I've read and watched, which is, I don't know how many shonen says, because I'm not really a shonen fan.
Neither am I. But like, of the shonen I've read, I would put it up there. The thing about it is that, like, when I read Chainsaw Man, I do see some of the influences, and I feel like the same thing with Jujutsu Kaisen. The authors were reading the same manga that I was reading growing up, and the authors are probably around the same age as me, so we all probably like the same things. It makes sense, but it's the way they articulate what they're trying to say through these characters. Even though some of these callbacks are familiar, they're still very unique in how they're portrayed. Chainsaw Man will change a lot of people's opinions about what anime can be.
Well, let's face it, Chainsaw Man, it shouldn't be a shonen, it should be a seinen. But yeah, I'm more of a I can't even say that. Like, I like everything, but shonen in my top 10, at least action shonen, I think there's only three series in my top 10 favorite series of all time. That'd be Bleach, Chainsaw Man, and One Piece.
I think with Chainsaw Man, it's going to have an impact the same way Death Note did. Death Note
Mm-hmm.
was like that big series that came right before Sword Art that made people look at manga as something very unique, and it will definitely infiltrate everybody's top 10 as well. I definitely agree with that for sure.
I think the one thing that Chainsaw Man will and might have issues with is it can get gross at times. And I think that there's some scenes that are going to cause people to immediately drop as a series. More particularly, the throw up kiss scene with Himeno and Denji. And I think that's going to get some people to drop the series for sure.
Yeah, and there'll be an equal amount that come just for that scene. So we'll
Well,
see.
what's your favorite scene in Chainsaw Man? Oh, the time Himeno threw up in Denji's mouth.
Oh, when I saw that panel, I was shocked myself. I was like, okay, this is weird, but it also drew me in because
Yeah.
of the fact that no shonens really do gross out humor like that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't funny. I'll say that much. I mean, like the way that he was describing the kiss is very, very weird. I was like, something's up, but I was not expecting to turn the panel and see it that disgusting scene.
But see, that's an interesting way of writing that story as well.
Yeah.
Denji gets a kiss and he's going through all these emotions, and then his drunk coworker just vomits in him. It's a crazy thing to experience, but it's also something that any person could imagine not wanting to be in that situation. But you still want to see it happen to somebody else.
Yeah, for sure.
You've done a wide variety of videos on your channel. Bleach analysis, tier list, reactions with your mom. Great videos, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Character breakdowns. They're all really good, and I can tell you put a lot of effort into your content. What sort of content would you like to create for your channel in the future?
I want to just expand, I feel like. I want to make longer, higher quality content and not feel like I'm doing that and it's hurting me in the algorithm. Like, I plan to do debunking videos on misconceptions. Like right now I'm working on the misconceptions of Waco Mundo and why people think it's a 1-to-1 arc with Soul Society, when it's not. I want to make thank you videos to mangakas. I have one that I'm planning with Kubo, and I have one planned with my favorite mangaka, which a lot of people think my favorite mangaka is Kubo. It's not. It's Oima, and I want to make videos like that. I want to make videos talking about more different series that I definitely enjoy upon the future. And I also want to make videos probably diving even deeper into a series than just a character breakdown or analysis on a single theme, but analysis on an entire series. I hate to use this guy as an example because he is, in my opinion, not the greatest at criticism. He's really good at explaining why he loves a series, though, and that's why I'm going to use him as an example. And that'd be Super Eye Patch Wolf. Super Eye Patch Wolf, although I think his criticism is terrible, and he doesn't know how to criticize a show a lot of the time, when he makes a video on why he loves the series, it's phenomenal. And I think he the way that he tells why he loves something is amazing.
Oh, Super Eye Patch Wolf. I'll give him his flowers. Definitely contributed a lot to the long form video essay scene for YouTube videos, and he's crossed over to mainstream, so good for him. But the content isn't always there. But no, I look forward to seeing how you develop as a content creator. You recently hit 1,000 subscribers, and that's always a huge journey for people to get to on any social media platform. But it shows that you're creating a great community. You're active on other social media platforms too. You're interacting with your fans, and you're doing a lot, and your content is so varied. I definitely expect you to keep having more growth no matter the kind of content that you put out. I can't wait to see what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Tell us why you love the 1,000 Year Blood War and why it's your favorite arc in Bleach.
Where do I begin? I think when you look at the arcs of Bleach, Kubo does this fantastically well. As the story progresses, the darker the story gets. And as we approach Thousand Year Blood War, we almost get to an arc that's as dark, I'd say, as some seinen. Like, and as I've gotten older, I've started to be more into seinen recently. Heck, Vinland Saga might break my top 10 with one season alone. Sadly, we won't get any good seinen adaptions besides Vinland Saga, but
Yeah,
it's a cursed medium.
it is. It is.
But Thousand Year Blood War just really hits different for me. And I think when it comes to Tite Kubo's writing with Soul Society, a lot of people say Bleach fell off after Soul Society. And I totally disagree with the take, but it's just because they don't like the execution on the setup. Soul Society as an arc is a setup arc. And that, in my opinion, it's one of the best setup arcs I've ever seen. But again, it's a setup arc. It sets up all the character arcs, all the characterization for the main protagonist, like friendly group, the captains, the Gotai 13. And while I can't call them good, they're morally different, gray, I'd say. In fact, for most of them, besides Mayuri, he's morally black. He's not morally good. As the story progresses, I feel like Thousand Year Blood War just wraps all those character arcs so beautifully well and puts them together. Granted, I don't think Thousand Year Blood War is the best arc Kubo wrote. It will forever stay as my favorite, just because I love how it progresses. I think the start to it is the best part in the series, and the pacing of it was incredible. How fast-paced it moved along, how the war felt. One thing I hate about war arcs is they don't switch perspectives enough. And while it's a pro, it can also be a con. I love how in Thousand Year Blood War, it feels like you are immersed inside the war because it shows you 1 minute of this fight, and then it switches to what's happening on the other side. It shows you a minute of that fight. All the characters start to come back. You see the Fullbringers come back from the previous arc. You see the remaining Espada come back. And while I wish that they did more, they still came back and they got featured in some way, shape, or form. I love the whole theme of Ichigo's identity. And I think no arc, besides maybe Fullbringer, which is my second favorite arc, does that as well as showing Ichigo's identity and how it grows throughout the series. I also love the themes that the Stern Rider bring along. The Stern Riders probably have my favorite designs when it comes to any group in Bleach, whether that's Shinigami, the Espada, the Quincy are the Thousand Year Blood War, are the Stern Riders. The Fullbringers, I think the Stern Riders are just the best designed, and I'm really excited to hear their soundtrack and all that. I'm trying to think of what else I love about Thousand Year Blood War. I think Kubo does a great job ending the series there. I love how he doesn't leave us with too much open. I mean, we could have seen Ukitake's Bankai and Aizen's Bankai, but for the most part, everything that we wanted to see, he showed us. I think he does great with that. Overall, I think a lot of the criticisms the arc gets aren't good. Like, I think somebody said that Bankais became a convenient counter to every villain's ability, when if you take some of their Bankais, they would work against any enemy. Like, the only ability in Thousand Year Blood War that I can somewhat understand that with, and by somewhat I mean I do understand that with, is Naneo's Shikai. Like, I can see why somebody would be upset with that. I personally wasn't upset with it, but I can agree that it wasn't the best thing for the series to go up to, especially since it wasn't established beforehand and it was a complete counter. But something like Kisuke's Bankai would have worked with any of the Sterners, and I just feel like it's an arc that gets a lot of crapped on, and it's the arc that I can read the easiest. I think I've reread, like, I once sat down for a day saying I'm going to start my reread on Thousand Year Blood War, but I just couldn't stop reading it because it's just so good that it's hard to put down.
You could sell this series to the blind man. The way that you explain it, I could tell you're someone who's read it probably more than 4 times, maybe 5, 6.
Thousand Year Blood War, yes.
Growing up, there were impactful animes that a lot of us didn't even know were animes. Pokemon, Beyblade, Yu-Gi-Oh! And they really helped shape the landscape that we have today for anime. Do you think that there will ever be a series similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon again in this world where you have 10-year-olds that are lining up to see Demon Slayer? You have 12-year-olds who've already started a few seinen and they're going in the direction of more mature series. is there a world for the children's anime cartoon?
I think so, yeah. And I only say that because what series are still ongoing and producing content? Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. They're still producing more, and we still see that in today's world in the seasonal animes. It's just none of them are blowing up and getting really popular as Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon did. I think when we think about that, it's more so a time convenience. Besides summer, children tend to not spend as much time watching shows, and instead I'd say they spend more time playing video games. I feel like they prefer to have the more interactive experience, where more so adults tend to have more prefer the laid back experience where they aren't doing anything, but they're standing there watching TV shows like anime. I think the same thing for the teenagers. I do think, though, Shonen is going to progressively get darker. And I do think shows will progressively get darker, but I don't think I will always think that there will always still be those lighthearted kids shows. Because again, some adults like that stuff. Like I know people who hate on Berserk because they think it's too dark, and instead they love on Pokemon, even though the new seasons are trash. But they still love on the new Pokemon seasons. I'm sorry, Ash winning his first Pokemon tournament, whatever it's called, in a random generation that felt pointless. That was trash. 20 years
All
for
of
that?
lead up for what? I wish it never happened. I've
Yeah.
never wished unsuccess on somebody, but I wish that on Ash. How dare you win?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Like, that could have been one of the best moments in all of anime, and they did it there.
Yeah, it was very strange. Such a weird conclusion to that story. I think those series also benefited because they had not just merch, not just a long running series, but also a tie in game, whether it was a card game or the Pokemon games, video games, or whatever, or a toy like Beyblade. I would love to see that. Like, and I don't know what the direction is because kids are playing with toys less nowadays. Maybe they need to have a mobile game. But it's like you see Pokemon Unite, for example. A lot of people are playing that, and there's always going to be like Pokemon Go and all of those mobile games.
Yeah.
But everything has a mobile game now. Will there ever be anything that will be similar to like the Yu-Gi-Oh card game that will also have the tie-ins? I don't know if I see it happening.
I mean, I don't know if I see it happening because Yu-Gi-Oh isn't going to go away. If anything, Yu-Gi-Oh's only gotten bigger, in my opinion. Like, I know adults that play with Yu-Gi-Oh. Heck, I have some Yu-Gi-Oh cards right here. Like, it's not like everybody. Yeah, I got the $30 sets when I was younger, the legendary deck sets. Like, they're just fun to collect and have around. And I think that's why Yu-Gi-Oh will definitely never go away as a series. And I could see another series popping up. But the thing with Yu-Gi-Oh is all your friends have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I mean, not all of them, but like so many people have it that's just convenient to have them anyway and play with your friends. And I think that's what makes Yu-Gi-Oh get so big, and it'd be difficult for another series to accomplish that for sure. Well, here's another hot take to get you guys content. Yu-Gi-Oh, the card game's better than Magic the Gathering.
Wow. Okay, hold on 1 second. I mean, I still love Yu-Gi-Oh, and I play once in a while with my friends. I love Magic. I play Magic all the time. But I think what you said, there is some truth to it. The Yu-Gi-Oh card game was a lot more fun than Magic. I think the Magic card game is a better game, like when it comes to mechanics. But Yu-Gi-Oh, like before Chaos, during Synchros, there was a lot of great games. There were a lot of great decks. The lore with Yu-Gi-Oh was fun. I enjoyed Yu-Gi-Oh a lot more. The tournament scene was a lot better. You go play Magic now, and it's not the same vibe when it comes to card games. I don't know what it is. Yu-Gi-Oh was very unique.
The thing with Yu-Gi-Oh is I like old gen Yu-Gi-Oh. I think the new gen cards, like I don't even know how to play with the new stuff. It's dumb. I mean, the game mechanics are stupid now. But when I play Yu-Gi-Oh, I play with the people with the older cards that are way more balanced. Like, to be able to beat somebody in 2 turns by getting a lucky hand is dumb to me. Magic the Gathering, though, is a fun game. I haven't played it in a while. I think I got rid of my cards for it, but I don't think it's a bad game. I mean, out of any card game, I play Hearthstone the most, but that's not physical. I don't even play Hearthstone that much anymore. I mean, I never played it that much, but I think game mechanic wise, Magic is definitely the better game. I love the whole it's been a while. It's not mana, it's the
Land,
forests, water. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
land, yeah.
Yeah, those things are very well done in how they progress with the characters. And if you're looking to get money, Magic is the way to go. Those cards constantly fluctuate between low and high. Like I have a friend who bought $2,000 worth of cards, and he sold 20 of those cards. So like 5% of his cards they bought for 1,400. Like, yeah.
Yeah, the ROI with Magic can be crazy. Like you said, it's a fluctuating game, right? You never know what's going to be part of the meta, what changes are going to make this
Mhm.
card viable again. Magic is great. It's a game that I can't play all the time just because it's so many different formats and modern, standard, draft, sealed, etc., etc. But yeah, I loved Magic. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh. I loved all those card games. Duel Masters was one of my favorite games. It's a shame it never caught on any bigger than it did in North America because it's huge in Japan. It's really, really
Mhm.
big. Such a great game.
I think what's funny about Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh is it's quite the opposite. Like old gen Magic cards, like I don't know if you've looked into them, but old gen Magic cards are broken. But the new gen stuff is actually nerfed. Well, back when I used to play, I don't know if they've changed it in the last 5 or 6 years. But
Teferi was a big thing, but yeah,
yeah,
it's a bit more balanced now.
yeah. Whereas with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like the old gen cards, they were balanced when they were out, but now they're like bad. Like if you go in with a deck that's like 5 year, like 10 years old, you're not gonna win. You won't have any of those synchros or XYZs or
The game has changed so much.
yeah. Remember back when polymorph used to be a broken card?
Yeah, yeah. When you could run rituals in your deck.
Yeah.
Man Eater Bug. I was afraid of Man Eater Bug. Are you kidding? Oh,
Dark Magician of Chaos was wild.
yep, yep. Do you have any recommendations to leave the audience with? Anime, manga, gaming, anything?
Bleach. Read Bleach. Um for real, like this isn't really a recommendation. This is a bigger thing to anybody who is getting into anime and manga. Ignore what people claim as quality. Focus on what you think you're going to enjoy the most. Because if you focus so much more so on a score than how much you enjoy something, then you're going to get wrapped into the wrong side of the community, I feel like. I don't think it's wrong to focus on quality or meaning inside of a series, but I think if enjoyment isn't your favorite aspect of a series, then I don't know. I think the way that you're watching it might be wrong. I guess. Like I find enjoyment in finding meaning in a series. So I like series that have a deeper plot. But you're not wrong for liking SAO. That being said, watch Bleach, read Chainsaw Man, um read A Silent Voice, watch To Your Eternity, and then read it. I mean, I haven't read it, but it's made by Oima, so it has to be a perfect series. That's a joke. Um, but yeah.
All right, I think we're good. Thank you so much for coming by the show. I really appreciate you taking your time to talk about Bleach and a whole bunch of different things within
Yeah,
the
man.
anime content creation sphere. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Um, you know what? This is going on your YouTube channel, right? Well, if you guys are not subbed to Kuro and you're over here from my channel, make sure you guys drop a subscription on Kuro's channel. Also, peep his Twitter in the description down below and any other links or social media that he has down there for his stuff. Check it out, follow him and all that stuff. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And links will be in the description below for your channel as well. You have amazing content, and I think anyone who loves Bleach or anime or wants to see an up and coming Anituber create great work, all they need to do is go and click the link.
Yeah.
This was Kero, Riri Paddle. Thank you guys for coming by. Take care, y'all.
Bye.